Are you looking for the very best products to protect your digital privacy? Well, Silent Pocket has everything you need with their patented product line of high-quality Faraday bags, backpacks, clutches, and wallets. Visit silentpocket.com today and receive 10% off your order by using discount code SHAREDSECURITY. Welcome to episode 114 of the monthly Shared Security Show. And joining me this month is the great and powerful co-host, Scott Wright.
Yay.
Nice.
Yes.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes. And I do want to welcome back the lovable Kevin Johnson.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. Oh,
There's a joke.
Would you rather be
that.
great and powerful or lovable? You know, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I don't know. Did he tell you why I'm the lovable Kevin Johnson?
He did not.
For the last 2 weeks, I've had at least 10 people end their conversation. And I'm talking professional conversations, not like talking to my wife. At least 10 people end their conversation with me with, I love you, Kevin. Love you, Kevin. Talk to you later, man. Love you. And like enough that it was like, because I've made that mistake. I'm sure all of us have, right? Ended a call that way. And I was talking to Nathan, one of my guys, and Nathan said, you know, Kevin, for anybody else, I'd say it was coincidence. But for you, it's probably John Strand. Because John Strand tells everybody it's my birthday every day. Constantly. It wasn't John, I asked him. And so we don't know why, but all of a sudden a whole bunch of people are telling me they love me. Maybe I just look like
You're just a lovable person. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Some of my best friends are lovable.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So today, for this monthly show, we're talking about gift card scams.
Yes.
And I think we have several stories actually to talk about. Maybe before
everybody
we
has
dig
a
into
story,
that.
right? But we should
do.
dig into it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin, you said that you have a recent gift card scam situation going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
I've been stealing gift cards from people. Yeah. This is my time to admit it.
Hello, FBI.
No, so last week, one of my staff, Doug, came into work and we're sitting here and he said, Kevin, this is so weird. I just got an email on my personal email address from you. And I want to be very clear. Doug knew it wasn't actually from me, right? And he says, it says, hey, this Kevin, it says it's coming Kevin at Secure Ideas, CEO. And it basically the email was badly written and it just said, hey, this is Kevin. Give me your current phone number. I need to call you. And I said, man, that's weird that it went to his personal email address, right? That was the weird part. And so I said to him, I'm like, okay, reply and give them my phone number, right? Like give them because I'm curious where this is going to go. And so he did. He replied and said, no problem, Kevin. My number is, my number. And so almost immediately, I got a text message. Hey, this is Kevin. Doug, I'm really busy right now. I can't talk on the phone. Did you get this message? Let me know if you got the message. And so I texted back, yep, got it. And they immediately wrote back and said, hey, I'm on this call. I can't talk, but I need you to go get Apple gift cards. And are you available to do that right now? If so, I'll let you know how much and where to send them. And I blocked the number at that point, right? There's no point in going further. I knew what the scam was. So we're chatting about it. And 2 other people in the company have gotten the exact same email again at their personal email addresses, which I find it interesting. One, I think it's a horrible scam. I can't believe people actually fall for it, but I know they do, right? I know people do. But the part that I found so funny is they went so far as to research, okay, Doug Migalski works at Secure Ideas. I'm going to use him as an example because I researched his name, researched that he worked here, researched my name, and found his personal email address, right? Which I'm sure, OSINT skills, you can do that. That's Google. Not super difficult. but then didn't bother to notice that it was my cell phone number, which is public. They were
Giving out like
back
candy. Yeah.
No.
Right. Oops.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I think you've posted your phone number on Twitter one time.
My
Right.
phone number is public.
Yeah.
It's just I post on, but my phone was 904-403-8024. It's if you have trouble finding my phone number, I don't want you calling me. It's been my phone number for like 20 years or something, right?
That's awesome.
So yeah, now of course I've given it out the wrong time because Scott's going to start using it in his systems. But
Yeah.
But
Just let me write it down. What was it again?
it was recorded.
I know.
You want my social also? That one?
Yeah.
So I found it really interesting that they went to that level.
Yep.
I also, side note, I find it interesting that people fall for that when it doesn't come to their work email address, right? Like Doug doesn't do work through his personal email address. He has an email
I know why they do that.
Okay.
So what's interesting is the story I was going to tell is very, very similar to yours, but it was 2 years ago. And it happened
It's
to
been that long.
It was my web development guy, like marketing website developer.
Yeah.
And he emailed me saying, I want to ask you about this weird thing that just happened in my company. And it was almost exactly the same. Somebody got an email saying, can you text me or something like that, right? They wanted to do it via text. And the person said, no, I can't. And I don't remember the exact details, but they got into an email exchange. And what was interesting was it was to their work email. Okay. Yeah. And a number of other people in the company got the same attack, but they were all using G Suite, Google email. Yeah. And all of them except one got the banner at the top that said, hey, this is apparently from somebody who is in your company, but it's not the same email address that we have for that person.
Okay. Yeah. Because you're right. That is a control. I forgot about that.
And so the way to get around that is to send it to their personal email.
That makes sense. Yep. I could see that. And as the CEO of the company, it is likely that I would have with a company our size, we're 25 people, that it would be likely I would be communicating with the person via their personal email address, if just because when they were hired, I would have had their personal email address. And yeah, I didn't think of that. That is absolutely.
So this is like an amazing sort of convergence of two perspectives on the same attack that has evolved, right? Because in the original attack, they were just using the business email.
Yeah.
And it started to get flagged by G Suite. But now they figured, oh, you know what? If I do this, they might still fall for it.
Yeah. Some of the attacks they do blow my mind that anybody falls for it, right? Like we actually talked about it here with our processes. We do have some cases where we buy gift cards. We don't buy them for customers. We have a different thing we send out to customers. Actually kind of a neat idea that we send out. We send it out to customers and people who have helped the company. I make pens, and so I've sent out. We've got a list of people to send them. It takes me a little bit longer to make pens than it should, I guess. But we do use gift cards. We do it birthdays for the staff.
Oh yeah. Do you do this kind of one where it's the offer to do the mobile rub?
No, I don't think we've ever given out a mobile rub.
God, that's disturbing.
But now I want one.
You can get what's his name, Barry Del Greco's mobile rub. You can he'll do a.
Is that a Canadian thing?
I don't think so.
I will comment that I've never heard somebody use very soft hands as a.
You are lovable, Kevin. So
sorry, surprisingly, very soft. Surprising.
This is meant to be a prank card, right? You're supposed to send it to somebody. So
yeah,
I'll tell you though,
just imagine the look on somebody's face when they see this in their Christmas stocking.
I think mobile massages is a business you could do. I
legit.
You might want a different brand image, but
No, I would definitely want a different brand image. That would not be the brand image I would want.
Sorry for the people who can't see this, who are listening on audio. It's a pretty overweight guy named Barry Del Greco who does mobile massages in his trailer.
And it's not creepy at all.
No, not at all.
Hey, it's not.
And the tagline is very soft hands.
It's not a white candy man. I
True.
yeah, no,
So-
I'm blown away by the types of things
Yeah.
people will fall for. And
So maybe Scott, like, what are the different types of gift card scams that people might encounter?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, there's a whole lot of ways that fraud can be done with gift cards, right? So, I mean, you can have stolen payment information and used to buy something and then cancel a transaction or something. I can't remember. There's a whole bunch of ways that attackers can kind of scam the merchant because the merchant gets a chargeback.
Yeah.
But when it comes to scamming a company, it's usually around that use case of some executive or a marketing person is trying to do a party or an event or give some kind of rewards for some activity, and they're conveniently on vacation. And in fact, this happens. Other stories I've heard where the CEO is literally out of the country, and so the attacker knew that. And so when the message comes from some outside email, free email account, it's not that surprising that it's not from a business email sometimes. And I've known ones where people have gone out and bought $7,000 worth of hardware store gift cards on their own credit card, and basically lost the money. So that's the most common one that I know of. I think that there are a lot of variants on that particular activity and which ways work, whether it's done by email or by text. And even by phone. I mean, that sometimes, I don't know if you would call it a gift card scam, but when the scammers call from the government, from the tax department, and they want you to pay your outstanding tax bill and Apple gift cards, like, okay.
Why would the government do that?
Yeah. Well, apparently some people do fall for it, right?
They do.
Yeah, they're going to evolve constantly as long as it's a currency, really.
Are you sick and tired of getting your credit card or debit card compromised? Well, it's happened to me in the past, and if it's happened to you, it's a time-consuming and stressful process to deal with. Look, credit or debit card breaches are happening all the time because there is very little protection out there to prevent your physical card number from falling into the wrong hands. Well, there is a great solution to this problem, and that's called a privacy card, which is a tool that masks your bank account information by generating virtual card numbers. So if your virtual card number gets compromised, your real card number won't. And on top of that, you can control all of those reoccurring online payments by deciding who can charge your card, how much, and how often. And the best part, you can pause or close out virtual card numbers at any time, which means you have total control over all of your online subscription and reoccurring payments. And right now, new privacy customers will get $5 to spend on your first purchase. So go to privacy.com/sharedsecurity right now to sign up and take back control of your online payments.
You want your organization to be secure and compliant and to have a healthy culture. But your employees' lack of awareness makes you vulnerable to data theft, fraud, and compliance penalties. It's frustrating that the boring, static training content that's being used today has failed to improve employees' ability to defend against cyber attacks. At ClickArmor, we know that without using gamification, it's extremely hard to get staff to understand how to avoid threats. Our gamified simulations and challenges have provided a 50% average improvement in thousands of employees' ability to spot phishing threats. Go to clickarmor.ca/sharedsecurity to get your free gamified phishing assessment for up to 500 employees. You'll see quickly how gamified simulations can help your team be more resilient and compliant and help avoid costly ransomware and fraud incidents. Let ClickArmor help you go from being an underappreciated, stressed out fall guy to being an innovative leader who's the catalyst for greater productivity in your organization.
Well, and let's be very clear. We can laugh about, oh man, that's so dumb and everything else like that. But there are multiple groups of people that do a lot with gift cards and things like
Yes.
that. For example, a dumb example, but I'm a huge Disney fanatic. And one of the things many people who are really into Disney do is they will pay for their tickets and what have you in Disney gift cards, because one, they can get the gift cards at a discount, right? You go to Costco or whatever, and
Yep.
the cards are cheaper, but they're still worth, that gift card's still worth $50. And two, there are groups of people who will trade gift cards and things like that and use gift cards because of financial limitations, right? They're not as well off, or they don't have as much, right? And so it's quite common for people to use gift cards that way. So it to people like that, people who are using it like that, the idea that the government would say, get me these gift cards, isn't as far out as we think it is, right? Like, I don't get me wrong, it's still wrong. It's still a scam. I'm not in any way saying that the IRS really wants Walmart gift cards. I'm just saying we can't completely judge it badly because of other.
Yeah, and there are other ones that I've heard of where people suddenly discovered that their loyalty points program points are all gone.
Yep.
And a common way that happens is their account gets hacked, and the attacker goes in and redeems with through gift cards, right? And they just basically get the gift cards sent to them.
Yeah, and I see a lot of kind of the, like you said, Scott, the play on the old way of doing any kind of scam. Even going far back to people still post these scams and classified ads of, hey, I have a gift card, $100 gift card, I'll sell it to you for 90. And if you're not, security aware, like, okay, why is this person selling a $100 gift card cheaper than the list price?
Yeah.
And so there's a scam. It's called like a balanced three-way check or three-way call kind of thing, where they get you on the phone. The seller basically makes you give, or convinces you to activate the card, and like those old types of scams still work as well.
Yeah. I think the tips that you hear, especially if it's a merchant that is issuing gift cards, is, track every event that occurs on them from beginning to end. And that'll help you spot, you might not catch the first one, but you might actually be able to limit the damage.
Yep. And then I think there's the store-based scams as well. So you've heard of people that will go to the, those areas in the store where they have racks of gift cards, and they will either scratch off the little activation code on the back, and then record the registration wherever the scanner scans it at checkout, and then they place a sticker over the scratch off piece, so you don't know that it's been tampered with, but it has, and then they just wait for the card to get activated, and then take the money.
Yeah, pretty slick. But I mean, for people like myself, I don't use gift cards that often, right? And so you might actually not realize, where the vulnerability is in the process. And I might buy a gift card off the rack and not know that the thing has been tampered with.
Well, and because you don't use them that often, you won't even notice
That's right.
the difference in what was sitting there, right? Like,
yeah. I don't get as many massages as Kevin does, but
that's, I find that extra funny because I actually don't get any massages.
So maybe getting back to maybe these two cases, right? Because these are probably the most common that we're going to see through email, right? So it's the easiest way to pull these off. What are some things that people can do to make themselves more aware of, or what's some kind of red flags that or indicators that people should know about?
Well, I would say if the message is coming from an executive or the boss of some kind, and they happen to be unreachable for whatever reason, that's a red flag, right? You're getting a message to do something that's pretty significant value without any secondary confirmation. So as a business, you should have some processes in place to authorize that.
I'll also say, think about normality, right? Is it normal for this person to communicate to you through this channel? Mm-hmm. Is it normal that you would be the person that they would ask to do this, right? Like there's so, like with the example with Doug and Elle and Andrew, for the three of them, the request itself was completely off the wall, right? Ignoring the fact that went to their personal email addresses. It isn't the type of request they get.
And I think there's another clue that I hear most often from companies that almost got hit, right? They caught it because, as you said, it's an unusual request to come from that particular person.
Yeah.
But more often it's poorly worded. The attacker has to guess at the appropriate tone and word usage. And in some cases, I've even heard, the way the person ended, the signature, where it was Rick or instead of Richard or something, that someone would say. So it's really just a matter of reading carefully and thinking about whether this person would really speak that way.
Well, that's a good example. That total example. Back when I used to teach for SANS, when I was doing the web pen testing course for them, I would say to students on day one that social engineering of me was in, and I was very specific, of me was in scope for the capture the flag, right? If you could trick me into giving you information on the flags, that was in scope, right? But there were some limits to it, like you couldn't threaten my family or something like that. That was a limit. You laugh. It's a limit I had
blackmail. Yeah.
So I got an email one day from Ed Scotus, and we were teaching class. He was teaching. I was teaching. That night, I'm sitting in the hotel room. I get an email from Ed Scotus, and it's like, "Hey, Kevin, I've got this guy in my class." Remember, at the time, I was working for Ed. I worked at InGuardians. Got this email that said, "Hey, Kevin, I've got this guy in my class. He really wants to bring us into his company to teach him some stuff. He wants to see how we build CTFs and everything else like that." And so I don't want to give him the answers to my CTF because he's in class. Could you send me the answers to your CTF so I could show him the type of thing? It was awesome. It was so good. I will admit I fell for it. I did not send them the answers back. So I clicked reply to write back to Ed, right? And all I was going to say was, "Yeah, Ed, I'll talk to you about it in the morning. I'll run you through the solution," because I didn't have the answers written down. I knew the answers to the CTF. I shared them with the other instructors. I didn't have a document to send this person. Or I'll be willing to admit I would totally have sent them. So I just wrote back to Ed, and what I was going to say was, "Hey, yeah, man, we'll talk at breakfast. I'll give you the answers then. I'll talk to you about it." And when I hit reply, I noticed that the email switched from an HTML email to, because I email in plain text. And so it had switched. And I also know that Ed emails in plain text. So as dumb as that difference is, this is totally like a stupid example because it was a student. It was right. The next day, I figured out who the student was, and in class the next day, I'm like, "Okay, good one. I'm going to give you an answer to the CTF if you want it." And what we did was, it was actually kind of cool, I think, but I'm biased. What we did was we gave them a free hint during the CTF. During the Capture the Flag Day, you could ask for help, and I would guarantee an answer that was accurate and helpful.
That's cool.
Right? Instead of just giving an answer, right? Yeah. And but I would have fallen for it. I totally fallen for it. But the difference, and it's little things like that people catch all the time. Scott, you're right.
Yeah, I think too that there's a lot of similarity between gift card scams and business email compromise. scams. They all have the same kind of MO, right? Of violating that trust relationship with somebody like your boss or a manager, and trying to get you to click a link, send money, buy a gift card. It's all kind of in the same, family of scams.
Do you think that I have not heard of this, but I was going to ask if you guys have, now you can buy gift cards online, right? You can go buy an Amazon gift card. So why are we not hearing more stories about employees being asked to just go buy a gift card off Amazon? Because it just gets emailed to you, right? And rather than asking them to do something suspicious like scratch off something and send a picture, just forward the coupon basically with the codes that you need.
Yeah, there are those scams too.
I haven't seen that.
The text message I got was buy these cards online.
Oh, okay. Because the one that was the one 2 years ago was buy the cards and send me pictures of the scratched off numbers.
Yeah, that's the lazy way. That's like, that's a lot of work.
So the one you were talking about, Kevin, was electronic basically and just easily forwarded. Yeah. So they've evolved, definitely.
Oh yeah. Yep, for sure. Well, this is a definitely interesting topic. In the show notes, I will link a couple articles. I know I found a good one that walked through a lot of scams that even I wasn't even aware of. A little more obscure things that, but still to be aware of, especially the ones that happen in the store, or there's another one that we didn't talk about, but where the employee of a store is involved in the scam. Right. Where they hand out, they basically switch the card at the register, give you a blank or a fake card, and they take the real one after they activate it. So,
wow.
There's all kinds of interesting gift card scams going on these days.
Awesome. Well, hopefully somebody will listen to this and tell their team or their coworkers to be very, very careful when it comes to gift cards.
That's right.
But virtually every organization I give briefings to will have already had some attempt at that.
Yeah. Oh, totally. All right. Well, that's all we have time for this month. As always, if anyone has suggestions on topics, we are definitely open to that. So you can email us at feedback@sharedsecurity.net, or you can bother Kevin on Twitter.
Or call his cell phone.
Just call Kevin. Yeah. Google his phone number and call Kevin directly. It's fine.
To Google it. They just got to listen backwards a little bit.
Yes. Or that.
Listen again. Yes. It's always good to listen.
But thanks everyone for listening. And thanks Scott. Thanks Kevin. And we'll talk to you all soon.